This is called This Little Light of Mine, and we always hear about people coming up for healing, and so this is part of my healing. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna hide it under a basket of refuge for all I hold dear. This light is my dreams, it's my creativity, my pain, my losses, my love, returned and unreciprocated, my anger, spent and caged. It's my hope, my faith, my fears, my hopeless faith and my fearful hopes. It's my anxieties, my fear of rejection and being misunderstood. The basket is a smile that says all is well. It's a convincing cover of confidence when I'm not too sure of myself. My basket is where I go when my trust has been breached. It's a barrier that protects me from heartaches and disappointments and coincidentally hinders me from true love and doubt-free relationships. My basket is the always durable, nonchalant, witty, outspoken, and speaking out, ride or die outer shell that you see. It's the sometimes shy and often quite sensitive frontage that peeks out without my permission. My basket is simplistically complex and confusingly cumbersome. The more I hide beneath my basket, the more my light transforms and adjusts, the heavier the basket gets and the harder it is to maintain. One time I loved so hard, this little light of mine. It was a childhood love affair that now spans well into adulthood. With every I love you, my light grew brighter. And then after years of I love you, it was never a goodbye. And now it's I still love you. And something happens when your S-O-U-L mate is really only an S-O-L-E mate. And somehow only your basket can protect that feeling. On my 19th birthday, a day to celebrate my shine when I should have been tiptoeing through my college sweetheart's dorm, I lost the first man I ever loved and the first man that gave me proof that he would die before his love for me would. I sat at his funeral and I begged him not to leave me. He could leave the others, I swore, but if he left me, there would be no need for this useless basket because without him, my light would not need to shine. His legacy became my foundation and I became a basket case. A young girl who loses her father or this little light of mine before she experiences true love is a formula for failed love. There were times my light became immensely bright, this little light of mine. Times I let it shine, moments and flashes of success, friendships that last a lifetime, memories that somehow still bring laughter and smiles. And since one can never be too careful, I just keep everything under my basket, and somehow the good times and happy moments commune with the darker ones like a proverbial melting pot. One Christmas Eve, I sat with my grandmother, this light of mine. We laughed and talked for hours. Write a book, she said, put it all on paper. Marry this kind of man, she told me. One minute you're like Einstein, the next minute you're a Jerry Lewis poster child, she would say. That Christmas Eve, she said, don't be a Jerry Lewis poster child. Everything in life comes with warning signs. Before there's fire, there's always smoke, and there are always clouds before there's rain. Don't ignore the warning signs, she forewarned. Now, I don't know why she told me this that Christmas Eve, but there was no place else I'd rather be at 26 years old than hanging with my best girlfriend. She was my inspiration and my light source. She brought meaning and added wisdom to my basket and a purpose to my light. We shared everything. She knew the complete inventory of my basket, the noble, the contrite, the dreadful, and the indifferent. There were no secrets between us, except the ones she kept and tried to prepare me for that Christmas Eve. By Christmas morning, my grandmother and the light that illuminated my world were gone. I wanted to die with her, but she left too much for me to do, too much to write, too much to share. And though it was a shadowy and dim point of my life, she continues to feed my light. And selfishly, I hide that because I thought sharing her would be a betrayal to my basket and that eventually her light would run out. But you just can't hide Hazel Franks. And to think I was Jerry Lewis poster childish enough to think that there wasn't enough of her light to go around. So she became a part of my basket, and I hide behind her even as I share my light with you today. I traveled the world and saw things that most don't see in a lifetime. I've dined, held audience, and rubbed shoulders with the wealthiest I've ever seen. I worked for a man who, for a hobby, purchased a strip of the Atlantic coastline, including the villages. I volunteered in an African orphanage and fed fresh mangoes to a healthy baby girl named Who Knows, a shortened version of Who Knows What Tomorrow Brings. Yes, this little light of mine, she had been left to die in the darkness of a sewer, yet her perseverance and survival will always be a radiant and resplendent point in my life. I sublet space in my basket when I cried for a man who had been lying dead on a busy Nigerian road for 2 days. As cars passed by and people on foot covered their face and crossed the street, my light dimmed and I mourned for a stranger. I prayed for him and still pray till this day that his dying won't be in vain. I visit him in my basket at my lowest points. If nothing else, I still have this little light of mine. Through the years, with each new experience, whether my light grew brighter or dim, my resolve strengthened and my wick of life grew longer. The opaqueness of my basket somehow thinned, and that which was concealed on the inside conceivably mirrored a corrupt, bitter, angry, unforgiving, beautifully diverse, extremely perplexing world on the outside. I set aside my reluctance to trust and allowed vulnerability to peek into my basket. It felt safe, and if nothing else, the kill switch on my light was foolproof, or at least tested by fools. I fell in love and got married, for better, for worse, till death do us part. And that's exactly how it happened. Better, worse, and death, all at once. At the apex of my life, I was in love, and in the next moment, I found myself putting 2 babies in one grave. I kissed and held my twins, Ugona and Ugochi, one by one, and I don't know if the light extinguished or exploded or if the that kind of pain, so I cursed both of them. Damn the basket and the light. But darkness doesn't last always. It was after my darkest moment that my most brilliant and brightest moment came. He was healthy, and for 32 years he tossed and turned within me, and with each pain and discomfort I felt, I cleared my heart for the light time of memories we would share. In the fall of '04, a gleam was permanently etched in my eye, and my basket had a new buoyancy, this little light of mine. Through the years, I've continued to live and to love. Sometimes it feels like I've lost more than I've gained. It's hard to keep counting this basket. So now, I stand before you. My basket toppled upright, and this little light of mine exposed. There are scorch marks as evidence of my losses and failures, and patches of spackling where I've tried to keep my secrets in. There's a simple truth that can't be hidden. I can't hold this basket and preserve this little light of mine at the same time. It's either I shine in freedom or I live in darkness behind this facade. Either I embrace the newness of what life offers, or I live in yesterday and gauge my decisions only by what I've managed to keep in my basket. The truth is, I can no longer live in this basket, this little light of mine. I've got to let it shine. I have a story to tell, and it's suffocating under this basket. No more hiding my light, no more keeping my light in. So now, my basket is ablaze, incinerated, giving new meaning to self-combustion. You know, your light can only get so bright without eventually setting the basket on fire. And I think I'll let it burn. And just in case you're wondering, as my basket burns, just know that the haze you see is a result of slow smoldering, guilt, and blame. My moments of happiness, joy, and love produce an aroma of inner peace. That basket that once veiled my light now serves as a furnace, burning those things I can no longer hold, releasing billows of growth and change, providing fragrances of the wisdom that life will bestow upon me, aromatherapy for the woman I'm becoming every day. This little light of mine, I am going to let it shine. That basket that once veiled my light, let it burn. This little light of mine, I am going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.